I'm going to walk you through everything about Google Analytics and how to use it to measure the performance of your website, meaning how good of a job it does at holding on to visitors and getting them to do whatever it is you'd like them to do on your site. And that could be anything from purchasing a product or service to downloading an ebook to signing up for a newsletter. But before we get into Analytics' vast reporting capabilities, we first need to understand what Google Analytics is. So what is it? Well, Google Analytics is a free analytics service offered by Google that tracks and reports website traffic. It was launched in 2005 and is now the most widely used web analytics service on the internet. As a small business owner, you completely understand the importance of gathering information about your business to better make educated decisions on how to run it, market it, and grow it. Regardless of the size of your business, you could be a one-person shop or a multi-level corporation, you have a presence on the web. And it's essential in business, and it probably always will be. You may be selling products or services on the web, or providing information so your customers can find you, or running a blog. Regardless of the purpose of your website, you need to know and understand how your customers and visitors interact with your content. And this is exactly what Google Analytics is for. It provides you with information so you can analyze visitor traffic. It helps paint a picture of who your visitor is and what they're looking for. And if you can better understand their needs, then you can better provide them answers to their needs. Google Analytics is a software platform that connects to every single page on your website. And through its vast reporting abilities, it gives you tremendous amounts of data for you to make decisions with. Google provides you the path that visitors take to reach your site, and then the path that they took through your site, the content they viewed, which page they left from, and even what type of device that they used to view your site. Google Analytics can also help you measure different goals that you may have for your website and how well that you achieve those goals. For instance, a goal might be having a certain number of visitors download your ebook every month. And using analytics, you'll be able to see how each one of your pages is working for or against you to achieve that goal. It helps you to understand what is working and what isn't working. It gives you insight into your site so you can make changes to boost your performance. It will help you understand why your site is performing as it is. By using Google Analytics, you'll be able to uncover the why behind every uptick or downtick in your website traffic. Maybe a competitor is grabbing traffic from your site because they have better SEO or are using paid ads. The point is, you'll have a greater understanding as to why, so that you can fix what needs fixing and better compete in your marketplace. In the online business world, we can summarize online objectives into 5 main categories, and those are e-commerce, lead generation, content publishing, online information, and branding. For commerce, the objective is, of course, online selling. And this could be products or services, but an e-commerce site has a shopping cart and a checkout. And you use Google Analytics to figure out ways to increase your sales and to track your performance over time. For lead generation, your goal is to collect user information, like emails, phone numbers, addresses, etc. And you use analytics to test out strategies of obtaining that information. And also test attributes of your landing pages to find out which combination works the best. For content publishers, the goal is to turn first-time visitors into repeat visitors. You're looking to get visitors to consume your content over and over and share it. And you'll use analytics to track what sorts of things keep people engaged with your content, what gets them to interact, click, and share. For online information, it's very important for users to find what they're looking for. It does no one any good to have contact information, for instance, on your website located in a place where your customers don't think to look. You may think it's an obvious location, but without Google Analytics, you'd never know that your customers aren't finding it. And that could be a huge turnoff and would probably lose you customers. You use analytics to make sure viewers are finding the information that they're looking for on your site. For branding, the most important objective is awareness and loyalty. Is your site being linked to, shared, and engaged with on the greater web? It's more than just how many people are looking at your site. So these are just a few examples of the type of information that Google Analytics can provide. It also gathers data on website actions like link and button clicks. It then takes all this information and boils it down into understandable reports so that you can figure out how to improve the performance of your website. Your website is an important sales tool for your business, and Google Analytics helps you understand how well your tool is working for you, and if it's not, how to fix it. So, how does Google Analytics work? Before we look at the analytics interface and setting up an account, I'd first like to discuss what's going on behind the scenes. If you understand how it works, you'll be able to better identify any problems that you might have with your setup, and also understand any data anomalies that may occur. There are 4 components to how Google Analytics works, and they are data collection, configuration, data processing, and reporting. To track a website, Google Analytics uses a small snippet of JavaScript code that you place on every page of your website. When a user arrives on your site, the code begins to collect data on how the user engages with your site and every page that they visit. Part of the data comes from the website itself, for instance, the web address or URL of the pages that the person is viewing. Other data is collected from the user's browser, like language settings, the browser's name, and the device or operating system that's being used. And from this, we're able to tell if a user's on a Mac or PC, and thus if most of our viewers are using Mac or PC, or if mobile is the preferred device. The JavaScript will also collect information on what type of content is being viewed, and how long it's being viewed for, as well as the referring source that brought the user to your site in the first place. Was it a Google search, or an ad, or social media, or an email? All of this information is then pushed to Google Analytics servers so that you can view it in report form. Google looks at each piece of data as an interaction, and every time your user visits a new page on your site or clicks something, the JavaScript sends updated information about the activity right to Google. And once Google has all this information, they will start to process it, which can take up to 24 hours to complete. And this processing is the step where Google takes all the raw data and turns it into something that's useful for us. After that, Google will organize the information. It categorizes users into whether they're new or returning users. It will determine length of stay on your site and length of stay on each page that they visited. Google will link together all the pages they visited in the order that they visited them. Google will also at this point exclude any information that you've preset. And we'll talk about this later on, but an example is you normally don't want to count interactions with your website that come from you or members of your staff. So you could filter out any views that come from your IP address. And once Google has processed your data, then it gets stored in a database. The last of the 4 components is reporting. This we'll be spending a lot of time on in this course. You access Google Analytics reports through Google's online interface, and it's where you can find and interact with all your data. Now, there's a lot more under the hood that makes Google Analytics work, but most of us here, including me, are not developers, so I'll just leave it there. But if you're interested, feel free to check out Google's documentation in the Google Developer Guidelines.